What up, y'all? Shotgun Bo here. Looking all nice in my fucking blazer. Today I met with the Nigerian embassy. It took a few explanations to get through to a woman named Grace, who is a very strong and beautiful black woman from Nigeria. And she is speaking with people at the embassy about me setting up an office in Nigeria to help recruit for a foreign legion. Yeah, chingon shit. If you don't know what that means, it means boss, badass, whatever. They were really surprised that I drove all the way from California, and I guess they were impressed. Took about an hour. I went through a couple different people. A couple of security guys came out and talked to me about, what opportunity I was looking for and what kind of, how it would work. And then finally I explained to them that I had already kind of assisted in Ukraine, and that it took Ukraine 6 or 9 months, I think, to finally get their Foreign Legion up and running, but that I'd be able to work directly with the Foreign Legion in Ukraine to gather their protocols and the way they set up their contracts, the way they set up their initial phase of operations. So an initial office, an initial landing spot for guys that want to volunteer, whether they're soldiers or just want to help out on the ground with logistics, transportation. War zones like that need people that are just able bodies and can get shit done, basically. Especially if their country has already been hurting for so long, which Nigeria has been in conflict for so long, and now it's finally coming to a head. Now it's finally getting support. Now the United States finally made a strike there, which they're probably going to follow up. I don't expect our country to put boots on the ground there. We have so much other shit going on with Venezuela, with Iran is breaking out right now, and praise God that hopefully the people of Iran will finally take over and throw down the Shah, or not the Shah, the fucking Ayatollah, and reinstall an actual democratic leader, or an elected leader, rather than this psychotic, evil Islamic motherfuckers that are running so many countries over there right now. They say that sometimes things had to get worse before they would get better, right? So I feel like that worst point happened for so many of these nations already, that us over here with our freedom and with our opportunities and freedom of religion and freedom of gender, freedom of whatever, sexuality, we don't know how good we have it, right? And these liberals, they think that they should support these terrorist groups because they're brown. That's the only reason. It's called white guilt. And it's also called suicidal empathy. So these people, these liberal actresses and these stupid, I'm sorry, there's no other word for it, ignorant, stupid, whatever we want to call it, people chanting in the street for globalizing the Intifada, which means globalizing attacks on Christians and Jews. You're a retarded person if you're a white person in America or in Europe or Australia and you're walking around chanting a slogan calling for the death of innocent people. That's a really stupid thing that you're doing. You really need to check your white privilege, and you need to realize that Bondi Beach attack happened because you were saying those things, and you were marching in the streets, and you were saying to free Palestine. Palestine doesn't exist. You need to read a damn history book. You've been convinced by these stupid social media clips, blurbs, blips, whatever, about you think you know anything about the history of the Middle East, and you don't. You don't. I post about it all the time. I post the actual history and actual Muslims and actual Jews and actual Middle Eastern Christians and actual Druze and actual Arabs from the region will read my post and they'll be like, yeah, he's right. Because you're wrong. Because Palestine doesn't exist. It never existed. Is it in the Bible? Is it in any history books? No. 75 years ago, the British Mandate, which is when King George decided they didn't want to occupy that region anymore, they pulled out all their troops, right? And they said, this is the British Mandate. This is called the territory of the region of Palestine, whatever you want to call it. It's a region. It's like calling the Northwest, right? And then it's like if people in the Northwest decided to call themselves Northwesterners just all of a sudden and tried to claim independence and tried to claim indigeneity to that land, doesn't happen. They're not from there. They're Arabs. They need to go back to the Arabian Peninsula where they're from. And that's why Egypt doesn't let them in. That's why Syria doesn't let them in. That's why Iraq doesn't let them in. That's why Lebanon doesn't let them in. That's why anywhere else doesn't let them in. Because they're just crazy Arabs running around the desert trying to claim they're from there. And they attack anyone who claims any different. They attack anyone who lets them in. That's why all these surrounding countries don't let in quote-unquote Palestinians anymore, because they're actually mostly Jordanian. So, like, if you look up their heritage, if you look up their ancestry, if you look up their names, they should be living in Jordan right now. But Jordan doesn't want them either, because they'll try to throw a coup or whatever and take over. So, like, we're done. Like, we're done. Like, I might only be part Jewish. I might be mostly Irish Catholic, mostly Christian. We're done accepting any Arabs here. Like, this whole thing is about to change. It's changing in London. It's changing in Scotland. It's changing in Ireland. It's changing in Australia. It's changing in America. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's a Muslim ban right now. Trump's fucking, thank God, expanding it to a lot of other countries. We're not letting terrorists in anymore. So I'm going to Nigeria. Like, I'm going there physically myself with my own dime if I have to. I'm trying to get support. So I'm trying to rally some money. I don't really want to do a GoFundMe, anything like that, but I have a Venmo. As soon as I have like enough money in my account to cover my bills for like a month or two while I'm gone, I just have a truck payment here and whatever, cell phone payment, I'm out. I'm gonna go there, and I already told them I was going with or without, any kind of like support. Obviously would be great if they wanted to help me get there, have a room to land at, and have like an office to start setting up the Foreign Legion. That'd be great. But I'm going with or without, funding, with or without any backing or whatever. So if you'd like to support me, I'd love that. I did the same thing in Ukraine. There wasn't even translators there. It was much harder. Nigerians speak English. They speak amazing English. They're very kind and warm people. They're, especially the Christian Nigerians, it's a shame that it's taken so many posts and so many people, millions and millions of people, especially Jews, promoting the post to say, look, Nigeria needs help, just like Israel needed help, just like Sudan needs help, just like so many other places, that are under Islamic conquest, or whatever they want to call it. I just call it evil. It's just dudes running around raping women, killing children, and chopping dudes' heads off, and making the women slaves. So Islam will be banned in the United States. There's a bunch of people in Texas already running for office there to ban it there. Someday I'll be running for office in California to ban it in California. And someday these stupid liberals will wake up. But who knows how long that'll take. Who knows how many more 9/11s it'll take? Who knows how many more Bondi Beach attacks it'll take? There's been 65,000 terrorist attacks, Islamic terrorist attacks since 9/11. How many Hindu attacks have there been? Zero. How many Buddhist attacks have there been? Zero. How many Native American attacks have there been? Zero. That's the fact. That it's not a religion. It's a totalitarian military and political ideology. It has nothing to do with religion. And if you don't submit, you die. And that's what Islam, the term Islam means, is submission. So I'm here. I'm going to help whatever I can. They said they'd email me back today or tomorrow. I'm getting my license for bodyguard work and private security contracting here. It said it could take like up to 2 months. But usually you can start working. So if you know anyone in DC that could hook me up with a job, let me know. I'm also looking for a studio. I'm basing out of here for the next 3 or 4 years. It's an incredible city. The architecture is amazing. I've just been driving around for hours every night, just burning gas. Last night I got to see the National Monument lit up for this 1 week. They're doing this thing where they project like the history of our country for the 250-year birthday, July 4th, and then the president came in and landed like right on the lawn, right across from us. Everybody was cheering and stuff. So I had issues with him at first. I still have some issues with the way he treats women or his personal character, but I believe he's the leader that we need at this time. And I believe the Republican Party is the right party for all of us. I believe that we're going to win majorly in the next elections, and I'm excited for Tulsi Gabbard. Hopefully she'll be running for president, so we'll see. I'm going to help her security team, whether I'm on their payroll or not. After the Charlie Kirk thing, I think there should be more plainclothes and more private security outside of the hired teams, even outside of Secret Service, that are there to just help protect in case, there's forces that be that want to take out good people like Charlie Kirk. He was an American patriot. He was a hero. He spoke the truth. If you don't believe me, go back and watch his debates. He didn't have a racist bone in his body. He was one of the most open-hearted Americans I've ever seen. That's why he's got millions of supporters that are black and Asian and Mexican, Latino, white, obviously, Christian. The guy was a genius. One of the most well-read Americans I've ever seen. Like, he should have been. It was horrible, and it was obviously an inside job. One of the biggest security failures of all time in the history of the world. There should have been a guy spotting on the roof with binoculars. There should have been a roamer checking all the other spots and the high points. They could have secured that whole area with 3 to 5 guys. That's what I would have had. I would have had 5 guys, and I could have secured that whole area. And it's horrible. I don't ever want something like that to happen again. Not in our nation. That kind of thing belongs only in third world countries, developing nations, or whatever. Like, we don't operate like that here. We believe in freedom of speech. All these liberals were cheering for him that he was dead. They were dressing up on Halloween with costumes where they were wearing his t-shirt with blood all over it. Liberals have lost their minds. They've lost their core. They've lost their center. They've lost their moral code. And it's disgusting. And they think they have this like moral high ground where they can like mock somebody being murdered on live TV with their children watching and shit. Like, you people make me sick, and you're fucking terribly off on your world philosophy. Like, you don't even understand these countries that you're posting about. You don't understand the history. You don't understand the murderous dictators that you're supporting. Like, Iran is led by 20%. Only 20% of the country is Muslim and Islamic, and the other 80% are being murdered and tortured and locked up in prison just for dissent, just for like speaking like they want freedom of their religion. Like, you don't even know what it's like in Iran, and you need to shut the fuck up till you do. Peace, love, happiness. liberty, freedom, and justice for all. I'm out. I'll see y'all. I'll be in Nigeria soon.